And Evan, I want to talk in our last 5 or so minutes here about Beto O'Rourke and the sort of breathlessness that has sort of flurried around this latest round of reporting that he is or may be considering a 2020 bid. Talk about what the latest is. There have been several headlines this week to that.
Yeah, it's not entirely clear to me that he is as interested in running as others are interested in him running, or others are interested in talking about the possibility of him running. There are polls that have had him purely based on name ID and the byproducts of his successful, as far as it goes,
successful, unsuccessful Senate
But
bid.
let me finish the sentence. It's been a successful campaign to put his version of politics front and center, because obviously he didn't win the Senate race, and as you know, we talked on this TribCast all year long about the likelihood, if not the damn certainty, that he was not going to win. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he got it as close as he did, and the fact that he built a brand that transcended this campaign and this state, he's been successful in that respect, whether that was the intent or that was simply what happened. People love to talk about the differentiation of Beto versus other people. You know, you've got a Democratic field that's coming together with 20, 30, 40 people. In fact, this morning, Julian Castro, the former mayor of San Antonio and the former HUD secretary, signed papers to form an exploratory committee and is apparently going to announce formally for president on January 12th in San Antonio. I mean, we're talking about the guy who's not said whether he's running. We should talk about the guy who is actually running.
Although, do you think he's been spurred into action? I mean, do you think he's...
Well, he might have changed his timetable because there's been, you know, Beto-mentum, and he's thinking that, we need Castro-mentum. This is ridiculous. But back to the congressman, the fact is that no one knows whether he will run. There's been a lot of discussion about him running. There are a lot of people who seem to think he should run or they'd like him to run, and there are people who think he could be successful in a way that Obama was successful. Ross Ramsey has a column today that talks about the need these days, whatever else you need to run for president, you don't seem to need experience based on the last 2 people who've occupied the job. And so the fact that O'Rourke's experience is relatively thin compared to some people who've run for president lately is not the disqualifier it might have been a generation ago. We're going to know when we know. And to get back to the point I made earlier about when you drive a new car off a lot, that the value of it drops. It's great for Beto to be talked about. It's great for him to be in the I'm thinking about it stage. The minute that he actually decides to run, they begin shooting at him.
Right.
And the fact is, some people have been shooting at him already. Rahm Emanuel, a couple of weeks ago on Morning Joe, famously said, "Why are we elevating a loser? The guy lost. You don't normally elevate a loser." And I think there was, of course, he himself had supported Hillary Clinton for president after she had lost, so the whole thing is ridiculous. But anyway, there are people who are already taking shots at him, because one of the things we've seen from the reporting on this race to date is that a lot of operatives and donors in some of the early states are frozen until they find out what Beto's planning to do.
Right.
So would he be a good candidate for president? I don't know. Would he be successful? I don't know. Should he consider running? Well, why the hell not? Everybody else is considering running. We may be the only 4 people not seeking the Democratic nomination in the country by the time this is over.